I'm just so glad that I saw this comment because I've been waiting to cover the story of Sawney Bean, but I wasn't sure that you guys were ready, but I think you are now, so brace yourselves. So Alexander Sawney Bean was born in 15th century Scotland, and he grew up to be a leather maker, or a tanner, as it was called then. But when Sawney Bean fell in love with his new wife, they moved out to the countryside, and they decided to set up their home, but they didn't want to opt for any, old school timber frame house. No. They opted for the wow factor, and they moved into a cave that had loads of tunnels and secret passageways that extended miles into the rock. So there's not a lot of work when you live in a cave in Ayrshire, so Sawney thought he would start robbing passers-by to support his new wife in classic highwayman style, until he realized it would probably be better if he killed them too to cover his tracks. But he didn't stop there, because living in a cave requires a high-protein diet. So they decided to eat the bodies as well. And soon the Beans began to produce little babies, 14 in total, raised on a strictly cannibalistic diet. It wasn't long before the Beanie Babies had Beanie Babies of their own, through incest. So the Beans are multiplying rapidly, and their cannibal production line has evolved to an industrial scale. The family of 48 has perfected the art of hunting, butchering, salting, fermenting, cooking human beings. But all it took to bring the Beans tumbling down was a single messy hunt, resulting in a shoddily murdered woman with her husband and a horde of townspeople as witnesses. And they'd finally seen the Bean army with their own eyes after years of conjecture, and they weren't gonna let another person go missing. So they went to the king. While the Beans cowered in their lair, the might of King James I, with an army of 400 men, descended on their cave, the biggest manhunt the country had ever seen. And what they found was just astounding. Miles deep into the cave, the wet, damp walls were just covered with rows upon rows of human limbs hanging in various states of preservation. And the ground was just covered in clothes and jewelry and bones, and then just these enormous cooking pots. All 48 Beanie Babies were marched to Edinburgh and sentenced to death. All 21 women were burned at the stake, and all 27 men were dismembered alive in the same manner that they killed their victims, of which it is estimated there were over 1,000. Have a good day!